Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Samuel, and welcome to the second part of my Panic at the Disco retrospective. Last time I did their first album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and I split it into two parts because it went on for so long, so let's see if this one ends up any shorter. Just a bit of a background. So, after the release of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, Panic at the Disco, well, the album was a commercial success and they became extremely well known. Their song I Write Sins Not Tragedies, which I'd said is actually the best song in the album, became a top 10 hit in the United States, and by 2011 the sales in the US had gotten up to 1.8 million. Apparently, it's the group's best-selling release. And according to Wikipedia, despite its sales, the album polarized music critics, with many praising the album's catchiness and others questioning its originality. Really? Really? That's the way they would go about it? Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So, this album was extremely successful, I would say. It peaked in the peak position that it had reached in the weekly charts. For the US top rock albums, it reached number 2 at its peak. In the Australian albums, it peaked at 11th, which is pretty dang good, actually. It had been a certified triple platinum in the United States, and then platinums in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the UK as well. And I think most importantly, it made Panic at the Disco well known enough for them to make a second album, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Pretty Odd, released in 2008. Now, this album, was actually, it was a bit of a new one because the original bassist of the band, Brent Wilson, was fired after the release of Fever You Can't Sweat Out. And there's a bit of contention as to exactly what the whole deal is, as to why he was fired and, you know, all of that stuff. Apparently, he didn't actually write any of the bass lines in the songs that they did. I think from what I'd heard, apparently, like, Brendan and Ryan, I think, wrote all of them. And then when they started doing songs live, apparently Brent was having trouble, like, playing the bass lines. I don't really like to get into it. I don't really like getting into the drama of the band, but point being that Brent Wilson left the band and was replaced by John Walker, who also ended up contributing to the guitar and keyboard, apparently. So, yeah, Pretty Odd was, as the name would suggest, pretty odd. It was extremely different from their previous album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, which I'll get into a little bit later, but it's very, very different, which kind of comes into the whole idea of Panic doing different stuff, changing their sound up, which becomes more relevant later on. But anyway, let's get started into it. So, their first song of the album, We're So Starving. Now, I like this. It's a nice, cheerful opening, which is quite a departure from A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Fever You Can't Sweat Out was taking itself very seriously a lot of the time. And actually, part of the reason why I Write Sins Not Tragedies so much was because it didn't take itself that seriously. The nice, cheerful opening for We're So Starving kind of tells the audience that, like, this one's not going to be as, like, heavy or as serious as the last album. Brendan's vocals are working great. The bit after the first chorus sounds great. It's worth mentioning, Brendan's singing in general sounds a lot better in this song. Or actually, he sounds a lot better in this entire album. He doesn't sound like he's straining as much, which is good. It means he's improving. I like that. The only issue I really have with the song is that it's very short. Your average song typically goes for about 3 minutes or so. This one only goes for 1 minute and 20 seconds. So it's a really nice sound, but it's very short-lived. Also, as you would probably be able to tell just from listening to the song once, it's a direct message to the audience, apologizing for being gone for so long, which by the way had been 3 years. They also insist that they're still the same band that they were before they became famous, even though they now have a new bassist and a completely different sound from their last album. I find that a bit ironic. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I'm taking a lot of the interpretations for what the song's about off Genius lyrics again, unless I have a different thought on it. Anyway, apparently, the song mimics the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in the way that it introduces the listener to the album, which for the Beatles was the exact same name as that song. Apparently, the album as a whole was heavily influenced by Sgt. Pepper, which I absolutely see. Like, I was wondering how you would classify the sound of Pretty Odd, but like, a lot of their songs, pretty much all of their songs, gave me really strong Beatles vibes. Also, I looked up the genre for Pretty Odd because I got curious. I looked up what the internet says Pretty Odd's genre is. It says that the album is emo hardcore, which it definitely isn't. And they also say that it's alternative indie, which it might be? But I don't think that really sounds right. Like, it sounds more like 60s or 70s rock, unless I know absolutely nothing about music. Like, looking up... Okay, so, I looked up on Wikipedia just now, the last 2 albums. It says, so A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, on Wikipedia, it says that the genres are pop-punk, emo pop, baroque pop, electro-punk, dance punk, and alternative rock. I kind of get that. I believe that stuff. Because if you remember what I had said last time, Fever You Can't Sweat Out, the first half of it is probably closest to electro-punk. And then the second half, it switches genres completely to baroque pop. And then I looked up Pretty Odd. It says that Pretty Odd is psychedelic pop, which... Alright, psychedelic pop, psychedelic rock, baroque pop, pop rock, and folk rock. Okay, I know absolutely nothing about psychedelic genre, but I kind of imagine that it would be, you know, really trippy. I don't know. I do definitely see the baroque pop and the folk rock. Yeah, it definitely feels very like 60s, 70s rock or something like that. Or any of those genres I just mentioned. So if you're into any of those, that's probably a good sign for you to listen to this. Anyway, We're So Starving, I give this... Oh, just in case you forget how I'm scoring the songs. Anything above a 6 means that I like the song, and I can see myself going out of my way to listen to it again. Anything between a 4 and a 6 means that I think the song is kind of meh. I can't see myself going out of my way to listen to it, but if it just shows up on the radio or on Spotify, I'll listen to it. I won't skip it, probably. I would probably listen to it. And then anything below a 4 means that I don't like the song. And even if it just shows up on the radio or Spotify just randomly, I would probably be more inclined to just skip it rather than ever listen to it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Anyway, We're So Starving, I give this one a 6.5 out of 10. It's a good opening song. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as the last album's opening song. The only difference between Martyrdom and Suicide is press coverage. But it's still a really nice track to listen to, only really brought down by how short it is, which in a way is a good thing. like, it's good for a song if the only criticism that someone has of it is it could have been longer. Oh, also, something that's worth mentioning. The songs in this album, the titles in general are a lot shorter than in the Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Fever You Can't Sweat Out, the longest title um, is There's a Good Reason These Tables Are Numbered, Honey, You Just Haven't Thought of It Yet. Pretty odd. The song with the longest title would be From a Mountain in the Middle of the Cabins, I think. And most of them are like 2 or 3 words each. So definitely better as far as long, convoluted titles. Anyway, so so second song of the album, 9 in the Afternoon. Now, this was the song that I knew, out of all the songs in the album, this was the one that I knew before listening to the entire album. Matter of fact, I'd heard 9 in the Afternoon even before I knew Panic existed as a band. So then I started getting into Panic slowly, and then I was very surprised when I found out that these guys were the ones that did 9 in the Afternoon, because I remember loving this song. It seems as though it's always the case that these old Panic albums, there's always like one song, there's only like one song that I know before going into it. For the last album, it was I Write Sins Not Tragedies. For this one, it's 9 in the Afternoon. First thing that I wrote down with this song was piano, bells, drums. It's such a nice intro. It's so cheerful. And there's a bit, I think from what I remember, it was just before the chorus, but there's like this silence. The instruments stop playing for like half a second before coming back in, I think with the bells, and it sounds great. The chorus sounds absolutely wonderful. We get trumpets, boy! We get trumpets! It sounds great. Okay, just for those of you who don't know, as far as I'm concerned, my top three favorite instruments. First to third would go piano, violin, trumpet, probably. So, yeah, always nice. And I don't think we really hear that many songs with trumpets in them, so it's nice to hear them. Again, mentioning before, Brendan's singing sounds way better in this one. It seems like there's like a slight distortion at some point. The song absolutely nails the feel-good vibe that it's trying to create. Oh, and also the third chorus, the music kind of fades out, and then it's like you have people like clapping to the beat, which might be a bit cliched, particularly in 2008. I think a lot of songs did that back then. But I think it works in this song. It's just like, yeah. And then you have the violins, piano, and trumpets fading the song out. It's like, or it might not actually be violins. I'm just gonna say strings. The strings, piano, and trumpets just slowly fading the song out. It's a great combination. More songs should use this combo, and not just because they're my 3 favorite instruments. The song describes what it feels like to be high with a significant other. Now, whether they say high and they mean high on love, or like being high with a significant other in the room, if you know what I mean, not sure which one it's meant to be, and it matters because I can only relate to one of those things. I'll leave you to decide which one it is. Anyway, 9 in the Afternoon, easy 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this song. Like, it's so happy. It has an awesome sound. It's got great catchy lyrics that work with the vibe. It's just like, I love this song. It is, it's, chef's kiss. And I accidentally stabbed myself in the lips with my nails. Far out. But it's fine because I'm talking about 9 in the afternoon, and you can't stay mad at that song at all. Anyway, 9 out of 10. Moving on. She's a handsome woman. Now, this song in general, the instruments sound a bit more distorted than the previous two songs. It kind of sounds a little bit like groove rocky, like it's got kind of like a groovy feel to it. It's also a little heavier than the other stuff. And when I say heavier, I don't mean in subject matter, I mean in instrumental. The instrumentals are heavier than the other stuff. I could imagine chilling out on a porch when I'm like 70 listening to this song. The song uses a large amount of dreamlike and nonsensical imagery to tell the story of an affair between two people. Why are there so many panic songs involving affairs? Like, pretty much every single song in the last album was like some type of affair or infidelity or something like that. Anyway, one of these people is in a relationship that's eventually exposed. It references blind hope and confused feelings from the narrator. Apparently, the title came from the producer Rob Matches, who used that to describe a girl he saw once as a handsome woman. I'm not sure whether he said that as like a little Freudian slip, or whether it was like, I don't know. But that's where the title came from. The song is quite chill, but it's also kind of samey. You hear the first minute of the song, and you've pretty much heard everything that the song has to offer. Overall, I'm giving it a 5.5 out of 10. It's nice and chill, but kind of goes a bit too long for a song that doesn't really change. The reason I don't give it a 5 is because I still, like, 5 I reckon is kind of like the very, very most average score. And I like it a little bit more than that. Anyway, do you know what I'm seeing? So, upon opening this thing, I immediately liked it. Like, within the first few seconds. It sounds like... And then, like, as it went along, it started sounding a little bit more like a little children's ditty of some kind. I also mentioned I'm a fan of the rhyming scheme in this song, but I don't remember exactly what that rhyming scheme consisted of. Hold on, let me see if I can get it up and see if it can jog my memory. There was something about it where I think it might have been like the rhythm or the words that they choose. Oh, yeah, no. Okay, I totally remember this one. What I mean when I say like a children's ditty, it's like, what is it? It's like, they're moving along, singing a song, just like they do. If the clouds were singing a song, I'd sing along, wouldn't you too? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's something about the rhyming scheme. I just really like it. Also, the chorus, at the very least, the very beginning of it, it reminded me of, that song, I Can't See Me Loving Nobody But You. Which, if you've ever seen a Smiths ad, well, actually, Smiths used that song, for their ads, like, a while back. But yeah, it reminded me of that quite a bit, actually. And it's like, if you hear the two choruses, you'll know what I'm talking about. Also, there's a harmonica in this song. I mention it because most songs don't have harmonicas. It's an interesting sound. I feel as though this song, like, yeah, it's an interesting sound. Most people don't use harmonicas in songs. Whether it's a good thing or not, I'm not sure, because I understand that it's very easy to have a harmonica sound bad. I am a very particularly bad offender of this, Give me a harmonica, and I swear I will be able to make you want to rip your ears out. Um, the song itself sounds like I'm in some fields in Ireland. It's so chill. I actually like this sound better than She's a Handsome Woman. Um, also, I don't actually know the answer to this question. Does he have some effect on his voice in this one? Like, it sounds like, and when I say effect, I don't mean like auto-tune or anything like that. I mean, it sounds like he's on an old 60s radio during the post-chorus, and then he sounds normal again during the chorus. So I'm imagining there probably was some effect in this, because spoiler alert, this isn't the only time that they use this effect. If it is an effect, but I think it is. The song whimsically describes the weather, but also sees the narrator questioning if his lover would stay with him during difficult times. That tripped me up for a second. The note that I had written up, I guess the word lover must have auto-corrected to liver. So the sentence actually says, the narrator's questioning if his liver would stay with him during difficult times. Which, I mean, that's a fair question, you know? You gotta make sure that your liver's loyal to you. It's not gonna just abandon you when the going gets tough, because the liver does a lot of stuff, from what I've heard. I think, from what I'd heard, it has, like, like, over 300 jobs, or something like that? I don't know. It's pretty important. That's why you want to make sure that you have a loyal liver, you know? Anyway, the song was made almost like a celebration of 9 in the Afternoon, because 9 in the Afternoon was released as a single initially, and it was extremely successful. And, well, it was just how happy the band was with what they had made. It's a very wholesome origin story, because it was like, they were just like basking in absolute elation. That's like, man, we made this thing. So yeah, I'm giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. Very wholesome, very wholesome. I love the verses. I was kind of expecting more with the chorus, but still very nice overall. I can very much hear the relaxed elation within this song. Anyway, next up. That Green Gentleman, in brackets, Things Have Changed. I don't know, like, does anyone know the deal with brackets in song titles? How you're meant to address them? Do you just address them like they're not there? Do you preface them by saying that these have brackets in them? Do you just ignore anything in the brackets? I don't know. If anyone knows, let me know. Because I know. Anyway. That Green Gentleman, brackets, Things Have Changed. I like the guitar intro. Maybe a tad cliched. This is also the song that we get the name drop of the album. Where it's like, things are looking to be pretty odd. And it's like, yeah, pretty odd. That's the name of the album. That might have been... I'm wondering why they... you know what, actually? They probably decided this name for the album because it sounds very strange. It's a pretty odd album. Especially if you were expecting more of the last one. Anyway, the music cuts out at the beginning of the chorus, and it sounds great. It's... Also, this is one of those songs where it's like, before it gets to, like, the main, like, line in the chorus, it's like, and I say... That was absolutely not right. I don't know why that comes up in so many songs. Why do so many songs do that whole and I say thing? It's always a welcome addition. Apparently, it features strong sexual themes and touches upon the fluidity of the narrator, as well as referencing marijuana, which apparently the Green Gentleman is a nickname for. I was not aware of this. I was not aware of this at all. You see, when I heard the name Green Gentleman, I imagined either a combination of the Gentleman Ghost from DC Comics, or the Green Knight from the Arthurian legends. That's what I was imagining. Or like a combination of Gentleman Ghost and the Green Hornet. I don't know. Anyway, this song's getting a 7 out of 10 from me. It's yet another really cheerful song that sounds super happy. Nothing's really topped 9 in the Afternoon, though. And I'm kind of wondering whether anything will. Anyway. Next up, I Have Friends in Holy Spaces. Ukulele! And radio voice. I wasn't going crazy. It's absolutely an effect that they're using. He sounds like he's like on a 60s radio or something like that. And a ukulele! That's a nice instrument. Yeah! Anyway, I get like old Pixar vibes from this song. Yeah, like an old Pixar movie. Like the outro song. I love it. I love the rhythm of the singing. It's like, I think the ukulele's actually, from what I remember, I think the ukulele's the only instrument in this entire song. And it sounds great. It's lovely. Also, I wrote, it's over already. I think it's even shorter than We're So Starving. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna check this. We're So Starving was 1:20. I Have Friends... I Have Friends in Holy Spaces? Yeah, I Have Friends in Holy Spaces. How long of a song is this? I don't know, because my internet is being slow! Why? Why do this now? How could you have come to hate me so? Why must you fail me so often? Ah! Oh my gosh, okay. How long have I been going on for? 26 minutes. That's not bad, I guess. Internet. Why? So, okay, so We're So Starving is 1:20. That is less than half the length of an average song. Average song is like 3 minutes. We're So Starving, 1:20. Less than half that length. In case you didn't notice, I am stalling for time right now because my internet is still being so slow. It is so slow. I think from memory, I Have Friends in Holy Spaces is supposed to be like... I think it might actually be less than a minute. Geez, that would be crazy if that were the case. Okay, I Have Friends in Holy Spaces. How long is that song? How long is it? How long is it? How long is it? It doesn't even say. What is wrong with you? I just looked it up on the internet and it... Okay. 1:57, I believe. Terrific. So, I was right. It is less... Ugh. Wait, what did I just say? I said 1:57, didn't I? Oh, wait. So that would mean that it actually is shorter than We're So Starving. What the heck? It doesn't feel like that. It feels like it went for, like, no time at all. How? I mean, I guess it's a good thing. The song sounds way shorter than it actually is. Anyway, it's a bit of a weird outro at the end that doesn't really lead into the next song like I thought it would. But it still sounds nice. Oh! That's right. Yeah, because there's like this outro after the song that kind of doesn't really do anything. Like, it's kind of just like there. I thought it was going to lead into the next song, but it didn't. So yeah, that kind of, like, the actual song itself, I believe, goes for less time than We're So Starving. And then the rest of that time consists of the outro and that. Anyway, so there are themes of familiarity and religion in this song. Paints a majestic scenery to create a holy feel to the song. The subject appears to be like a biblical presence. Not even rain can fade the light of the holy presence. I was initially thinking that the song was something much smaller scale than like a full-on holy presence. Something much smaller and simpler. Unless that Holy Spirit is a significant other. Like, I was imagining the protagonist in this is like meeting a future love in the rain, and like it's really casual. Like, they're very unassuming about the exchange, but it like contains a little bit of foreshadowing of like, oh, they'll be cute together. Kind of like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, when Jake takes Amy on that date that she's supposed to absolutely hate. And he's trying to make it like as miserable for her as possible, but they end up inadvertently having a lot more fun than either of them expected. Actually, this song would work really well for that rooftop scene in the show. If you've seen the show about the whole worst date ever and that, you know what I'm talking about. This song I give an 8 out of 10. I love the sound. I love what it's about. Kind of brings me to a simpler time. You know, like back in the 60s. You know, a simpler time that I was never around for. Is that actually possible? Like, to feel nostalgic over something that you've never actually experienced yourself? Like, I remember I heard that, like, yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that that game Shovel Knight, which came out a few years ago, a lot of people kind of got very nostalgic about it because of the old like 8-bit pixely graphics and that. And some people were kind of getting nostalgic over it even though like they like never owned a NES. They never like were alive during that time. So it's like, yeah, is it possible to feel nostalgic over something that you never actually experienced? Deja vu? Would that be deja vu? I don't know. Anyway, Northern Downpour. There are nice light vocals with an acoustic guitar. Sounds nice. It sounds like a campfire song, but with lyrics that you would never have in a campfire song. Like mentioning things like broken glass, genius, and Capricorn. It's a bit of a weird you'd never hear that stuff in a campfire song. And if you did, then play that song. Play that song to me because I'm interested. There's a bit in the song that's like, there's one of the lyrics is "Hey Moon." Kind of reminds me of "Hey Jude." Not just because they sound very similar, but also like kind of the I guess the melody of it. Would you say that's the melody? The inflections? I don't know. The inflections, which makes sense considering the whole thing is, you know, Beatles inspired. An electric guitar comes in for the second verse. A tambourine comes in at the second chorus, so it's like the instruments are gradually layering up, and it sounds nice. Um, I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like how they sing the word sugarcane. It's like, sugarcane. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. You might say that. I don't. I don't know what it is. You might call me pretty odd myself for that, but I don't know. I just really like how the way they sing it. We also get to hear a decent amount of guitarist Ryan Russell's vocals, and he sounds really nice. He compliments Brendan quite well. I'm trying to remember. I don't think he actually did any singing in the last album, or if he did, I didn't really notice it that much. In this album, he definitely does a lot more singing. In fact, I'm pretty sure one of the songs he sings pretty much entirely on his own. Yeah, he complements Brendan's voice quite well. I reckon it'd be cool to hear more stuff from them together in later albums. Oh, wait. It's a somber song. It's a somber song about love, touring, and everything else important to the guys. It reminisces on both the good and bad times, and apparently this song was written by Ryan. And it was his final single with the band. Anyway, I give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Very easy, lazy, relaxing. It's nice. 6.5 out of 10.
And so ends the first part of my pretty odd review. Tune in next week, where I finish that review. Anyway, see you guys next week. Have a good one.